Daniel had spent most of his life fixing other people's cars, but he could never fix the emptiness left in his own heart. Every morning began the same: coffee gone cold, grease-stained hands, and a silent photo of his late wife sitting by the window. She had been gone for years, yet somehow, every day still started and ended with her memory. His garage wasn't much: a flickering light, the hum of tools, and the faint scent of engine oil. But it was honest work. And for Daniel, honesty was everything. What kept him going wasn't the job, it was his son, Ethan. A bright, kind teenager who still believed his dad was a hero. But deep down, Daniel wondered how long he could keep pretending everything was fine. Bills were piling up, the garage was struggling, and the smile he wore every night was starting to fade. They say sometimes the smallest act of kindness can rewrite a person's story. Daniel was about to find out how true that was. If you believe kindness can still change lives, subscribe, and join us on this journey. Ethan often stayed up waiting for his dad to come home, headlights cutting through the night, footsteps dragging across the porch. "Rough day again?" Ethan would ask, gently. Daniel would nod, forcing a tired grin. "Just another day in paradise, son." But Ethan saw through it. He saw the worry in his father's eyes, the weight he carried alone since the day his mother passed. One chilly Thursday, after school, Ethan stopped by a small cafe to finish his homework. The world outside was gray and cold, but inside the cafe, the smell of cinnamon and roasted coffee felt warm, safe. As he scribbled in his notebook, a gust of wind swept through the open door, sending papers flying across the floor. A woman nearby scrambled to catch them. Without thinking, Ethan rushed to help. "Thank you," she said, smiling. "These papers are my whole day's work." Her name was Claire. Her voice carried calm confidence, but her eyes were kind, gentle in a way that made people feel seen. They talked for a while. She asked about school, his dreams, and his family. When Ethan spoke about his father, about the man who worked himself to exhaustion but never complained, she listened deeply. Before she left, Ethan said softly, "You should come to dinner sometime. My dad could use some good company." Claire chuckled, surprised, but saw sincerity in his eyes. "Maybe I will," she replied. Ethan didn't know it yet, but that invitation would change everything. When Daniel came home that evening, Ethan was practically glowing. "Dad, I invited someone for dinner tomorrow," he said. Daniel froze mid-step. "You did what?" "She's really nice, Dad. You'll like her." Daniel sighed, rubbing his temples. "Son, we don't know her. We can't just invite strangers over like that." But Ethan wouldn't back down. "Please, Dad. Just trust me." There was something in Ethan's voice, hope. So Daniel reluctantly agreed. The next evening, he rushed home from the garage, trying to make their humble home look presentable. A cracked dinner plate, a flickering kitchen light, he felt embarrassed by how little they had to offer. When the doorbell rang, Daniel wiped his hands nervously and opened the door. Standing there was Claire, dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit, her presence somehow filling the room with warmth. "Good evening, Mr. Miller," she said kindly. "I hope I'm not imposing." As they sat down for dinner, conversation flowed easily. Claire asked Daniel about his work, his life, his dreams. He spoke hesitantly, uncomfortable talking about himself. But the more he spoke, the more she listened, genuinely. Then, just as dessert was served, a small plate of store-bought pie, Claire's phone buzzed. Ethan caught a glimpse of the screen. It read, "Board meeting reminder, CEO, Claire Bennett." Daniel froze. "CEO?" He looked at her in disbelief. "You're a CEO?" Claire smiled softly. "Yes. But tonight, I just wanted to be someone's guest." The room fell silent for a moment, the kind of silence where emotions speak louder than words. Daniel swallowed hard, his face flushing. "Ma'am, I had no idea. I hope this humble meal is enough." Claire smiled warmly. "It's perfect, Daniel. You've raised a wonderful son." Ethan looked between them, unsure of what would happen next. Then Claire leaned forward, her tone soft but firm. "You know, I've heard your name before. There's a small auto garage across town that used to fix our company vehicles. The owner was described as honest, reliable, and selfless. That was you, wasn't it?" Daniel blinked. Yes, ma'am. But that was years ago. Times got hard. Claire nodded. I remember the invoices. You undercharged us every time, just to help drivers who couldn't afford repairs. Her voice softened even more. Daniel, kindness like that doesn't go unnoticed. My company is expanding our service division. We're looking for someone exactly like you to manage operations, fair pay, benefits, stability. I'd like to offer you the position. Daniel's eyes welled with tears. He couldn't speak. For the first time in years, hope replaced exhaustion. Ethan stared at his father, tears shining in his own eyes. Dad, see? I told you something good would happen. Claire reached across the table, placing a hand over Daniel's. You've given so much, Daniel. It's time someone gave back to you. Daniel whispered, voice trembling, thank you, from the bottom of my heart. That night, laughter filled their little home, the sound of a new beginning. The following week, Daniel started his new job. For the first time in years, he walked into work without fear, only gratitude. Ethan often visited him, watching his dad smile again. The tiredness in his eyes was replaced with pride. Claire stopped by occasionally too, not as a CEO, but as a friend. She became a reminder that success and compassion can live in the same heart. One afternoon, as Daniel closed the shop, he looked at his son and said, You know, Ethan, you gave me back my faith. In people. In life. Ethan smiled. You always taught me to help others first. I guess it came back around. Daniel nodded, voice thick with emotion. It always does, son. It always does. Sometimes, the most powerful acts of kindness aren't grand gestures, but simple moments of human connection. Ethan didn't just help a stranger pick up papers, he helped rewrite his father's story. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching this will remember. Every small act of kindness has the power to change a life. What would you have done in this situation? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that warm the heart.